Welcome to Healing Lives with Positivity 24/7, 365. This is a platform dedicated to my beautiful, amazing, so bright eyed inner child. So, from my inner child to your inner child, welcome. We are going to be talking about life path number 8. Finally, right? Okay, so life path number 7, you got 2 readings. Interesting enough, I uploaded one reading. I did not know if it would be on time for when I wanted that video to premiere. So I ended up doing a backup reading for life path number 7. You and I know there is no such thing as coincidences. I feel like Spirit wanted us to really tap into our number 7 elements. So you could be a life path number 9, life path number 3. You need to really pay attention to that life path number 7. 7 is the number of completion, totality, mastery. It represents the consciousness, right? So let's get into it, okay? So life path number 8, here we are. Finally, I did not forget about you. I always take time to pull back and do enough research. I've been studying numbers for, oh wow, over 20 years now. And so now I feel like I've gathered enough information that I can put it together and package it to gift it away to the universe. But again, these are just kind reminders, y'all, that we've set up in this life as we go about our divine paths and our journeys. Seeing the numbers, that's just a sign and a symbol to remind you of which way to go. It's kind of like a coding, right? If you will. So if you are somebody that does not know your life path number, you want to take the number only by way of the month that you were born in, the day number only, and the year, and add all those numbers until you get to a single digit. That is your energetic birthright stamp. It is the number that resonates with your soul. It resonates with your soul's mission. It is the number that you chose. It is your birthright in this now, right? So come on in. Let's talk about life path number 8. Chime in. Let's see. Okay, life path number 8 symbolizes and signifies ambition. Ooh, life path number 8. Ambitious, okay, focused, easy by way of getting into leadership roles. Being a leader is easy for you. Life path number 8, that's what I just heard. Okay, driven for the desire of financial success and material comfort. Individuals with the life path number 8 are resilient, they're goal oriented and capable of overcoming significant obstacles to achieve their professional and personal goals. Key challenges, though, maybe something that you've already learned. Life path number 8, okay, include you possibly being somewhat of a workaholic, right? So there has to be balance in that. Something about, workaholic tendencies, potential materialism, okay? Maybe a little dominating when it comes to getting what it is that you want, which could come off like controlling, but I feel like people who are this focused can be mistaken for people who are control freaks, when in reality you're simply just controlling your world, right? And everything else around you has to be in alignment with your goal. That's not always a bad thing, but I feel like when people misunderstand you, you come off like materialistic or, too focused on the worldly possessions. I feel like a lot of this stems from that infinity energy. The number 8 is the sign of infinity. When you turn it to the side, it's the ebb and flow. It reminds me of the DNA strand. I feel like your focus by way of being diligent in this particular life has a lot to do with you collecting what belongs to you. In an earthly world, okay, where you want to have a comfortable human experience, it's your divine right to collect your inheritance, your ancestral inheritance. It's almost like whatever my grandmother didn't get, I'm here to collect for that. You could be one of the first millionaires in your family, okay? That's what I just heard. So it's almost like you're balancing out spirit, but you also realize that this earthly experience has a lot to do with how you get through this life. So you're focused on your stability. I like it. I like this. I like this a lot. Number 8. Well, come on in, everybody. Let's tap in to number 8. Number 8 is a very powerful energy because the number 8 is everything. The number 8 is everything within. Turn that number 8 to the side. Everything goes like this in the body. It goes like that, doesn't it? Even the Kundalini awakening, up the spine. Okay. Yeah, the direction of the 8. The number 8 is like, it reminds me of water, reminds me of motion, the infinity number. It reminds me of dimension. It reminds me of balance. It reminds me of flow. It also reminds me of what goes around comes around energy too. But what goes around and comes around doesn't always have to be the same thing as what it was when it once went. But now that it's returning, maybe what's coming back around is a new opportunity for me to do something different. If I didn't collect my worldly possessions in a previous life, I'm here to collect them now. It's a very important thing, especially when you leave your legacy and what you've worked hard for in this earth, so that your offspring will have dominion in the earth as it relates to resources, right? With humanitarian aspects. Because as a leader, number 8, the energy that I'm picking up for you is that, you create opportunities as well. In order to be a real decent leader, you create opportunities for people who have great talent, which means you hold space. You are somebody that prides yourself on leadership. But I feel like you pride yourself on leadership in a way that you want everybody to be in a leadership position. It's not like a do as I say energy. It's not giving me like, the energy that I'm picking up for you, number 8, is not like giving me like I want to control how your experience is, but instead I'm creating an opportunity for you to showcase your talents. Because as a leader, this keeps a lot of pressure off your back. It's one thing when you're a leader and people are following you long enough that they can eventually find themselves and follow themselves, right? But indefinitely following somebody, I'm not getting that energy from you. I feel like leadership is an example that you set. You practice what you preach. That's what I just heard. Yeah, if you want to see it and be it, like you just carry that energy with you, okay? So, wealth and possessions. So, Spirit is saying, the universe is saying, something about conscious breathing. Remind yourself to breathe throughout the day. Do you find yourself holding your breath or holding tension anywhere in your body? Number 8, for example, your stomach, your shoulders, when you feel stressed, focused, or irritated. Focused breathing, especially when directed to these tense areas, will promote peace of mind and healing. Start with deep breathing, deep breaths into your chest, into your stomach, and then release. When we say into the stomach, you got to push your belly button away from your spine. Whereas some practices by way of breathing encourages you to pull the belly button towards the spine. The belly button is the most overlooked portal. Just in number 8's energy. Thank you, number 8. You got me really pulling for information that I know I need to share right now. So let's do it. The belly button, number 8. Okay. That was your connection. That is your connection to mother. That is how you were fed information when you were in the womb and you were growing, being molded and shaped in triple darkness. I just heard darkness is your ally. Woo, I love it. I'm not afraid of the dark. That's what I just heard. So you could be cultivating things in private, in silence. Maybe you're learning the way that the world sees you. I just heard it's what they say when you're not around. It's how you show up in the world. Interesting. Let's check the energy for life path number 8. Okay, so you got people that could be looking at you, They have their say about you. Yeah, life path number 8. Let's just see what's going on. I feel like the universe has got some really good confirmations for you, life path number 8. I'm really enjoying channeling this energy. I feel number 8, high vibrational number 8s, the ones that have learned how to balance out just work ethics. There is a such thing as being a workaholic, but I feel like when you really love what you do and your intentions for what it is that you're doing are good, you don't overwork. It's like you get an ample amount of sleep, you get an ample amount of rest. This could have been something that you've evolved to understand. Maybe you used to do things differently. Maybe you were the person that put in a lot of overtime or whatever. But now I feel like working hard versus working smart is absolutely something that you've gained by way of wisdom. Who am I talking to? I feel like I'm talking to some ascended masters. Ambitious and driven, okay? So according to Google, it says ambitious and driven possess immense willpower, determination, and strong drive to achieve success and material security. Natural leaders, you are very responsible, authoritative, and capable of making tough decisions, making efficient leaders. Making a tough decision is not always easy. You know, when you know you got to let somebody go or they're just not a good fit for the job as a leader. Yeah, sometimes you have to make the best decision for the group, right? For the greater good of whatever the work is, right? The outcome. And sometimes people don't mesh well. So making tough decisions, the same things apply, I feel like, when you're trying to work with people in life, right? You got to decide, what's my strong suit, right? What's your strong suit? How are we going to get something done together? It could just be as simple as having a very nice ebb and flow conversation. It's the simplest things that we're accomplishing together. Just to have decent communication is a form of accomplishment. Equal give and take by way of linguistics, by way of language, by way of sound. Conversations have sounds to them. It's either going to deposit something new into your vortex or withdraw. And hopefully it's equal give and take, taking and or receiving between two people. That's good communication. That's leadership. Okay, thank you, number 8. All right, goal-oriented, focused, practical, with a strong sense of purpose and optimism about achieving their life's goals. The weaknesses, they're saying, this is what, according to somebody that studied the life path, number 8, by way of personality types. Workaholic tendencies, okay? Being materialistic, prioritizing wealth and status over emotional connections and relationships, okay? Controlling, emotionally expressive, may lack emotional expression and can appear to be too serious and lacking sensitivity due to their focus on their own lives and material gain. So most times you're in very interesting, powerful positions. Let's just be honest, okay? You are the one for the job. You're the one that's usually, the entrepreneurs, the financial advisors, the lawyers, the engineers, the doctors, the politicians, the business executives, if you will. You are the ones that are usually in these demanding, strong leadership roles, very resilient, okay? So people having a high expectation of you. And it's because of your ability to intuitively be strategic when it comes to discerning what decision to make. Yeah, affecting the decision-making process when it comes to leadership. I love this. Something about finding a moral compass, finding your moral alignment and balancing things out. Okay. I feel like, the 10 of Swords in the reverse, finding your emotional balance. Okay. The 10 of Swords is in the reverse, though. I feel like you're the kind of person that when somebody thinks that they're betraying you, you just turn around and get better. 10 of Swords in the reverse is like, it's like a game of chess. There's always a checkmating energy here. Like mentally, Swords is communication, mental, silent conversations within self. And then there's the external conversation, what's being translated by way of what you're feeling internally and what you pour out into the world or the atmosphere or the meeting or the conversation or the speech or the directions, instructions, leadership. Page of Cups energy. Yeah, sometimes you feel like you're leading children. Page of Cups energy. These are people with limited abilities. So it's really not that much of a betrayal. With the Page of Cups, it's immature people who lack decent work ethics, or you could feel like that, or emotionally, you detach from people who come off too wounded, too needy. That's what I just heard. Page energy. Yeah, the 2 of Wands. So you've learned how to balance out heartbreak and heartache because you see it. Honestly, you see betrayal from like a business aspect. Like the way I see you moving through life, number 8, it's almost like this is like a business proposal with the universe. It's like it's strategic in the sense that you've already foreseen what the finished goal is, which is really a supernatural power. But I feel like you're playing life. Somebody's either out here playing life or they're being played by life. Yeah. The Three of Swords, you've mastered some type of heart-brain coherence. This could come from your experience from being a leader, maybe trial and error, something that you learned about how to move. Because with the Ten of Swords in the reverse and the Page of Cups, you have people that can't compare to the work that you've put in. That's why work ethics, when you're working with somebody, they got to have the same work ethics as you. You know, I'm a firm believer, you know, that if you really want to know somebody, travel with them. That should really be a first good date when you're thinking about marriage. Traveling really does require for you to navigate life. It will reveal to you your own fight or flight mechanisms, characteristics. It'll also reveal to you fight or flight in this person that you now want to consider to be a permanent life partner, or at least until your physical body decides that it's time to go. Whatever the case, whatever the circumstance, I feel like a road trip is really good. Why? Because with road trips, you know, you have unforeseen forces. You have things that you plan for, and then there's things that happen that you don't plan for. When you're planning a road trip, you get to know somebody really, really well. Maybe there's going to be a stimulating conversation. Maybe there will be an argument. You will get to know who somebody is. Not only that, you have to work well with them to get to wherever it is that you're going, especially if you've never been there. And even if you have, it's the experience in between. It's the sightseeing. It's the music that you play. It's the conversations that you have. It's the, oh, you're going to sleep and I'm going to drive. I feel like a road trip and traveling with somebody before you say I do is absolutely something that people should add to their list of requirements, okay? Outside of asking the person on the first date, hey, what's your childhood trauma? So have you done some shadow work? You know, normal things. But I feel like people usually tell you what they've done just by way of conversation. Sometimes you don't even have to say it that way. You just kind of bring that energy and the truth always comes out. But that, with that being said, that's the energy that I feel from you. I feel like you've learned a lot through your experiences. I feel like with the Ten of Swords in the reverse and the Page of Cups, you see these, it's like, oh, this is interesting energy, number 8. It's almost like you see these as minor casualties, considering the circumstances, considering your Queen of Cups energy, considering yourself, considering being the best version of yourself. Whatever these betrayals were, they were minor sacrifices. Because you know that a betrayal can't stick to you when you're in this Queen of Cups energy, Two of Wands energy, always in motion, water energy, always flowing, Three of Swords, healing your heart. Your heart and brain coherence by way of creativity is connected. So who's trying to come in? With the Ten of Swords, it's always something that will get exposed. But I feel like it's petty intrigue for you. I feel like you're so much of a leader, not just in a group, but a leader of self, okay? You know, it's one thing to be a leader in the office, a supervisor, a captain, if you will, and then go home and play second fiddle to yourself. That's really easy, but it's kind of uncomfortable, right? How can I tell anybody else what to do if they're asking me to do that and I'm in a powerful position to do so, right? As a lawyer, as a doctor, as a judge, and then I go home and play second fiddle to myself, or maybe I succumb to somebody else's dominance at home. There's so many layers to that. I've seen people be more authoritative at work than at home, but at home they feel minimized by their husband or their wife or their mother or their father, right? So it's like when they step into the office, now I get to say what's going on. But then they step and they cross over into the threshold of their personal life and they're the minimalist. Maybe they're quiet. Maybe they're not as authoritative. Maybe they succumb to a healthy compromise or maybe a not so healthy compromise. But it's a split in an energy that's not healthy. One has to be authentic to be in this energy. Number 8, you are amazing. Listen, let me tell you something. Number 8. You're infinity. You're infinity. You are the loop. You are the loop. You are the loop. You know, what goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. What goes around comes around. It's the illusion of what goes around comes around. So people kind of expect sometimes, who don't really understand that, they expect the same old thing just to happen again. They just looping around. It's giving retrograde loops. But the number 8 is more than just a looping. You know, what goes around doesn't always have to come back around again. That is the 2 of Wands walking away. 8 of Cups. Yeah, that ain't got to come around again. Look, I cannot make this. It's only when you refuse to walk away. The 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups represents moving forward. Look. It's a loop. Number 8. And you're even coming out as yourself. 8 of Cups. So what are you teaching the world by way of the number that you were born to? Or what you've given birth to by way of the number 8, you're teaching the world, hey, you got to know when to get off that merry-go-round. You got to know when to get off that loop and get onto another loop. Because what goes around doesn't necessarily have to come back around again. And if it does, it doesn't require, or it's not mandatory, rather, okay, I stand corrected. It's not mandatory that you be the same person if it does come back around. Because if something's going around and coming back around again, the only thing that's changed is who you are. So now you're no longer even a part of the loop, whatever that loop is. You're different. So you created a new reality. Yeah. Because what goes around comes around reminds me of doing the same old thing over and over. Yeah. For what? It's a no. Temperance. This is what number 8 is saying. Temperance, balance. Okay. What is the universe saying about my beautiful number 8? So people that thought that they were betraying you are sitting in a child's position, now having to learn from something that you've mastered. That's what I just heard. Temperance. You're coming out balanced. You are the Ace of Pentacles. I cannot make this up. Something about you reaping the financial benefits. This could be like a windfall of money. This could be a business loan. Whatever this is, the Ace of Pentacles is something that you put in the work. I can't make it up. You're coming up as the High Priestess. You're coming up as the High Priestess who's been activated. I love this. I love this so much. I am eternally grateful. The High Priestess and the Ace of Pentacles. Your intuition is really what guides you, shows you. It's your inner compass. It directs you on what you need to be doing next. Like there's something about having a supernatural ability to know, oh, what am I supposed to be doing now? Right? And getting to whatever that it is in the now. Yeah, finding life's balance by way of work and emotions. Because with the temperance energy, number 8, although you come off like you're just about the pentacle, you're now in this energy of Queen of Cups, water energy, temperance energy. You're balancing out your emotions. You're emotionally connecting in a way that is benefiting you and the other person on the receiving end. That is equal give and take. High Priestess, you could have gone through a transformation. You're coming out tempered, but you got that Ace of Pentacles too. Yeah, I can't make this up. The Page of Swords. You got a lot of people watching you, taking notes. The 7 of Swords, and they're doing it quietly too. So 7 of Swords is just kind of like taking a look-see, you know, peekaboo ass energy. Peeking around the corner, reaching around, using their sight to see what it is that you're doing. 7 of Swords. Somebody feels like you got the secret sauce. That's what I just heard. They feel like you got the secret sauce. This could also be some form of a monitoring spirit. We'll talk about it in spiritual court. Listen, now number 8, you are in a good position. You got the 7 of Swords and the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is like ear hustling. Somebody wants to know. It's like they're chiming in. They're leaning in. Okay. It's like maybe you say very little, and when you do, it holds a lot of weight. So you got people chiming in. They're leaning in to learn something from you. You got somebody here, 7 of Swords. They don't want to admit that they need to learn something from you. But I feel like you are not interested in that energy. I feel like you're going towards energies that resonate with you. Sitting at the table with leaders. I love being amongst leaders. It's so honest. Even if you don't agree on certain things, it's nice to just have that diverse perception, right? I love that. People that think for themselves is always a good vibe. You can't miss with high vibrational people. Seven of Wands, yeah, ancestors. You're chiming in, you're standing your ground. Okay, clarify, what is it that the universe wants us to know? The Hierophant in the reverse. Woo-wee. Some of these people thought that they were going to knock you off of your pedestal. The Hierophant in the reverse are nonconformists, but not to their benefit. Like, why are you not conforming? That's not going to benefit you to be that way. The Hierophant in the reverse. What's the Hierophant in the reverse? Four of Cups. That's so funny. I feel like some of these people could have done some type of energetic work towards you, or they channeled, projected something out towards you. It doesn't look like you're resonating with it. You're too balanced. Yeah, you're on a whole nother loop. Yeah, what goes around ain't coming back around again. Not with this nasty energy. The Ten of Swords in the reverse and the Hierophant in the reverse. It's like bad communication, bad investigation. Seven of Swords, Page of Swords. Watching somebody so closely, with bad intentions, not even knowing what the eyes are seeing. Somebody's eyes are playing tricks on them. Somebody was watching you so close, they don't even know what they're looking at. Four Cups, they missed an opportunity to work with you, to collaborate, to shadow you in a very healthy way. There was something that you were here to teach this person, these people. Yeah, you walked away though. Two of Wands. Give me more, Holy Spirit. What's going on here? You call judgment down on the situation. Judgment's in the upright for you. So everything is being made fair for you. That's what I just heard. You won your case. With the universe, you won your case in spiritual court. It has already been decided with judgment. You're a major arcana and you're coming up as the Queen of Pentacles. Something about your stability. Taurus energy, throat chakra, Capricorn energy. You can feel it in your bones. Yeah, I can't make it up. Virgo energy. You get a gut intuitive nudge when you need to do something. And it seems like you always are on point. It's like getting a feeling to do something, and it always leads you to the Ace of Pentacles. It always leads you to the High Priestess energy, using your intuition, Eight of Cups energy, then you move towards it. It's one thing to have intuition and discernment, but not listen to it and move towards what you're being guided to do. I feel like you do this very well. Balance, Ace of Pentacles, Eight of Cups is moving in the direction of my intuition, High Priestess energy, and the ancestors are here. There's that number 7, Seven of Wands, 7, 8, something's in a synchronicity. Four of Cups, half of 8 is 4. The Magician, this is how you're manifesting. You got alchemy all around you, and this is how you're gaining some type of balance. So if somebody was like into the dark arts or whatever this is, man, I don't know. They're going to have to take it on the chin, They're going to have to, I don't know, they're going to have to ride that out in another direction or whatever they need to do in order to figure all this out. Clarify the Hierophant in the reverse with the Ten of Swords in the reverse. Yeah, Spirit just closed the door. Ten of Cups. Okay, so listen, the Ten of Cups is bloodline. Family. Okay, clarify. This could also represent a broken marriage as well with the Hierophant. You broke some type of generational curse. Whatever it was, you broke it. Okay? Whatever these last relationships were, these ultimate betrayals, you broke these curses. I'm only here to clarify what the truth is. I feel like this is a beautiful reminder and confirmation of the inner work that you've done. That's all this is. Five of Pentacles. You had to leave people out. You had to cut off family members. Hierophant in the reverse is like non-traditional relationships. Somebody could have gone against the marriage in some type of way. You were forced to leave this person out in the cold. Yeah, something like that. You may have even needed to go back to the beginning with the Justice and the Ten of Cups to conquer something in your childhood based on what you saw was a working family dynamic. That could be mother, father, stepfather, auntie. As a child, we view these family dynamics from a very innocent standpoint. Nothing is really connected to anything when you're a child. It simply just is. And then we gain what we feel are these experiences that make us more leery, or they warrant us to be careful, or we see it from a position of like an adult who's now been hurt or who has had moments of pain as opposed to pleasure, right? So I feel like you revisited your childhood. You did something here with your bloodline. It looks really, really good. There's a whole bunch of people that thought they were betraying you, but really they were one of your best teachers. And I feel like you have this energy of gratitude for the people that you've had to encounter. Because the Ten of Swords is easily in the reverse. The Hierophant in the reverse are people that are not interested in getting close to God. And if they're not interested in getting close to God, they're not interested in being their higher selves. You had to leave these people out. This is like leaving the dead bodies in the cold. You had to. Yeah. It's no fun talking to a dead man walking. You ever just seen somebody just dead? Everything they talk about, it's not alive. You know, they're not talking about anything that you can live off of. You know, that you can sustain yourself with. Yeah, Five of Pentacles, okay? Holy Spirit, anything else? What's going on? The Page of Wands, they're still watching you though. Some of these people are watching you really closely. They could be hiding. Seven of Swords, okay? It's like they're hiding the fact that they need to learn from you. That's a form of ego, okay? Somebody's ego is bruised, okay? You got the Knight of Wands, something about passionately being in pursuit of something. You know, you got a lot of these people that are fighting over information. It's really weird. It's almost like somebody wants to beat you to the punch before you put the information out. It's almost like somebody's learning from you or wants to see you. Seven of Swords with ulterior motives, so they can be the first to give birth to something. So that it seems as though they're the origin of the thought, of the idea. Some things are not new up under the sun, especially when it comes to information. But now that we're getting new information, this is a self-sabotaging situation. If somebody thought they were copying you enough to try to plagiarize off of your knowledge, they're setting themselves up for failure. I see somebody like trying to rush to do something so they can say they did it. Something like that. So somebody's watching you with a motive to take your ideas, plagiarize, something like that. Clarify. Two of Cups and the Queen of Wands. Yeah. It's because you're in this confident energy. Two of Cups and the Queen of Wands is about partnership, friendship. Yeah. Whatever this is, you're gaining some type of new knowledge and somebody can't catch on fast enough. Yeah, they need to try to do something else. You got the Queen of Wands and the Two of Cups. This is like you collaborating with people that are on the same energy frequency as you. Creative frequency. Yeah, you're on the same, like, it's a balance here. It's very balanced. And not only that, your intuition is on point with the Ace of Pentacles and the High Priestess. Clarify, Holy Spirit. Yeah. You got the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Some of these people could be hollering for you to come back and they're on an old timeline, but you've blocked it out telepathically. So you got the Eight of Wands in the reverse. Eight of Wands in the reverse could be people that feel a certain way about you, number 8, when you leave the room. Okay? It's like it's very tarnished, warped, weird conversation, right? Confirmation. Yeah, the Ten of Wands. These people are stressed out because they know that they can't revisit these relationships with you. They've done too much. Two of Cups to the Three of Cups. You're meeting new people. This is beautiful. I like the new energy, number 8. I like this new energy. The new energy is saying, I'm brand new, so therefore something new is happening right now, okay? And it doesn't leave room for you to take old, outdated energy with you. It simply just kind of falls away. It's washed away because number 8, you're in this water element, but you're also in your air element, your fire element, your intuitive element, earth, fire, wind. What is this? Earth, fire, wind, and water. It's all balanced with temperance energy. You're tapping into some angelic, frequencies. As Archangel Michael, that's how you're coming out. The Lion's Gate could be significant. 8-8 portal. 1988 could be significant. Okay. 2088 is a very significant timeline by way of the future, number 8. 3088, anything with the 8 in it or adds up to number 8 has to absolutely represent a new loop. We think about infinity. We think about on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But what goes around comes around. kind of goes against the natural, it kind of goes against the natural understanding of what the number 8 really means. Because what goes around comes around, but what goes around coming back around, is it the same thing again? Or is it something new that's going around and coming around? Because really, technically, the only way to get out of that loop is to be different. So yes, it's going around and round because there's some type of energetic flow. But when you go around and you become, or you go back through a loop and you're somebody different now, you revisit versions of yourself, situations, and you see it differently. You're just like, wow, I can't believe I used to do that. Huh, that's interesting. Whoa, I can't believe I used to think like that. Wow, that's interesting. You're different. You went around, you just didn't come out the same, or you didn't come back around the same. Whoa, let's see what the gods and the goddesses have to say when it comes to life path number 8. Hopefully this will upload within enough time. I'm also going to go into a membership group on this platform. It's going to be 99 cents a month. Okay, I'm going to make it super cheap. I'm going to do 2 levels. One's going to be 99 cents. The other one's going to be like $2.99. That's where we're going to go into the workshops, talking about herbs and birth path and destiny and what we're creating. It's almost like, when we come to these meetings, you know what we are now? We're not just family. We're like accountability partners. It's like once you decide to open up your energy to certain frequencies on a high level, you then become an accountability partner for them and they you, whether we accept that or not, or maybe we're just realizing that because when you see other people who are great doing great things, it becomes contagious, doesn't it? It feels really good to be amongst very successful people, successfully completing the dark night of the soul, successfully conquering your inner demons. These are accomplishments. This is what certifies you. So that's what those groups are. We're accountability partners. When I have to do something or hold myself accountable and keep my word, it becomes something that has to be connected to my passion, right? Because people who have to fight to keep their word really don't want to do it. But when you really want to do something, you're going to find a way to do it. You're going to make sure you do it. And when you do it, you're going to show up doing whatever you need to do in order to get it done. That's a whole nother version of yourself. So accountability, right? It's really our higher selves that are holding us accountable to being our highest self amongst each other, collaborating. That's really where the accountability lies. The spiritual contracts keep you accountable. Okay. We'll go more into that later. I love y'all so much. Thank you for being here. Let's see what's going on. I appreciate that. If you're just now coming into the chat, how you doing? Yeah, the 8 of Swords in the reverse. Listen. I love you, life path number 8. Look at how your number comes out. 8 of Swords in the reverse. This is like taking the swords out of your mind. Removing the swords from your pressure points that are blocking creative, energetic flow. Self-imposed imprisonment. It's a prison that one would put themselves in, but who is willingly shackling themselves down? Why would you hurt yourself like that? When we realized that the 8 of Swords was not a prison that somebody else was putting us in, that was really the shift from being the victim to being the victor and taking accountability. Like, oh, wait a minute. This is a self-imposed imprisonment? Like I put myself here? Well, let me go on and let myself out. Okay? Thank you, number 8. I'm so excited. I love you, number 8. Number 8, life path number 8 in the reverse, 8 of Swords. I cannot make this up, y'all, because judgment has to be made fair. So whatever this was, that was either an illusion by way of you needing to revisit it. What goes around comes around, number 8. When it came back around, instead of you reacting the same way, you gave a different reaction, but you could have only have given a different reaction if you were literally a different person. If you were a new person, that's the only way to give a new reaction. One has to be completely separated from the version of themselves that used to react in a way of haste, maybe anger, maybe irritation, maybe regret, maybe self-sabotaging. Those are reactions, unhealthy reactions. So what goes around comes around. You're like, you know what? I call judgment over this. And when you call judgment over this is really it. It is really I. I is really me. Me is really my inner me. Do I got any inner me's on my inner me? Let me go within in so I can see what's going on out here. Everything's in the double negative situation, but what's up is really down. Like everything becomes a weird ass contradiction of a colloquialism as it relates to supernatural beings. At some point, you got to go back around that loop 8-8 and say, okay, you know what? Yeah. If this is infinite looping, then I'm going to change the way I am. And that's where ascension comes in, right? Number 8, I'm just here to channel the message, y'all. Okay? I'm just being used as a vessel to channel the truth. I am eternally grateful. You got the 4 wands in the upright, you being celebrated. The 4 wands represents partnership. It's a bride and groom relationship, but within. It's not on the external. It's mastering feminine and masculine energy within, sexual energy within. The number 8. Number 8 is a very important, when I think of number 8, I think of a hula hoop, which is really good for centering your chi. You know, when we were children, we used to have those hula hoops, and it's going a loop, in a loop, in a loop, in a loop-de-loop, and a loop, and everything moves in the number 8 rhythm. Even when a woman walks with a sexy walk, it's in the number 8. She's just looping and looping. She's tossing masculine energy from her right side into her feminine side, allowing her inner man to heal her feminine. She's moving in the number 8. She's moving like a snake. The snake as in the Kundalini. Experience number 8. You're amazing. 4 of wands. Wands is fire. The number 4 represents completion, determination. 4 plus 4 is 8. 4 is half of 8. So something about your better half, okay, within you. Yeah, I can't make this up. Some of you are traveling. Some of what you're doing is going to travel. I just heard news. Travels fast. 2 of wands. Something at a distance. Yeah. You're already like setting something in your sights. Whatever this is activation. You know, it's one thing to sit up with an idea or a way of being or who it is you want to be, and you want it, you see it, but to have that knowledge and not apply it is absolutely like, it doesn't do any good. At some point, you can only read so many books. At some point, you can only speak so many affirmations. At some point, you can only study great people for so long and take information. At some point, you have to make it your own. This is the energy that you're giving out. This is what I feel for you, number 8. At some point, you made this information your own. At some point, one has to get into the application of knowledge. So you're applying it to your life. Now that you know what you know, you're saying, okay, now it's time to apply it. Yeah, life is an experiment, isn't it? Let's try this. Let's try that. See what happens. But expecting the best, you know, minimizing the worst that will never come. Yeah, I can't make it up. The 6 of Cups, it's a loop. Retrograde, childhood. 6 of Cups is death, okay? That's scorpionic energy, transformation. You know, oftentimes, you know, it's so funny because I feel like number 8, you could look back at versions of yourself. You know, sometimes maybe you still think about her. Maybe sometimes you still think about him. That was a version of yourself at one point in time, right? But now that you're in the 6 of Pentacles and you think about where you're going and what you're doing, it really does put you in an energy of gratitude. Look at the way the scales are out of balance as she's holding them, but you're aware of when something's off. This is probably one of the best like self-preserving techniques I feel that anybody could learn, is knowing when something is off. within you, in the environment, emotionally, spiritually, energetically, frequency wise. When something is off, that is always a good intuitive attitude to seek out. Like, let me fine tune my intuition. Let's fine tune our discernments, so that way I know, as I'm navigating life path number 8, Two of Wands, going to a distance, reaching for what it is that I need to achieve. Because what I need to achieve and what I want is also seeking me as well. That's the Wheel of Fortune. That's alignment. I've already called down judgment. I've looked at other versions of myself in this loopy situation. Judgment is really about self. You know, those conversations, you know, the ones you got to sit down and say, hey, self, listen. Yeah, we can't eat that no more. Oh, yeah, we can't do that no more. You know, then you break up with yourself and your old self is crying and, but you said you wasn't going to abandon me. Then you turn into a 5-year-old child who's been abandoned, but you've had a full conversation with your lower self. You got to tell your lower self, like, look, I want better for us. I got to go. So you leave your old version of yourself there and you set yourself free from old ways of thinking, maybe things that you learned along the way, projected onto you, right? Through family dynamics, marriage, relationships, whatever the case, and you decide, hey, 9 of Pentacles, I'm single, self-sufficient, but I'm never alone. Look at the way she's talking to the bird. The bird represents message from the universe. So you could be catching a lot of synchronicities. Yeah, I just heard when you look at the numbers, it's always the right number on the clock. I love the clock. The clock is so funny. Whoever created the clock created stress. Oh, it's 8 o'clock, it's 5 o'clock, it's 6. Oh my God, it's 7 o'clock. Like, no, hold up. When I look at the clock, I'm just looking for the synchronicity, man. And I always look at the clock at the right time. That's what I heard, number 8. Listen, whoever invented the clock, 10 of Wands, they wanted to put weight on people's back. I got 10 more minutes. What? I got 21 minutes. Okay, hold up. Let's go back to the times, you know, when we were telling what time it was. Just by way of the positioning of the sun in the sky, right? Okay, yeah. Oh, okay, look at the sky. We know that 12 o'clock is when the sun is at its hottest and when it's at its peak, right? We don't need to look at the clock for that. But when you do look for the numbers, they're always in a synchronization, always giving you some type of a message, right? I can't make it up. I can't make it up. I could, but you know, let's just stay in the flow. Let's stay in the flow. So 10 of Wands, stress. Time is stress. You got more than enough time. This seemingly competitive energy, 5 of Wands, that too is an illusion. Those people are really fighting themselves in a self-imposed imprisonment that you have already released yourself from. Since releasing yourself, this could make these people feel insecure. 4 of Pentacles is giving crabs in the barrel mentality, okay? Because you're going towards this inner partnership with the 2 of Cups. The 2 of Cups is you coming into balance with your spirit and your heart and your mind. Brain and heart coherence. When the organs within start to have conversations with one another, it creates a beautiful frequency. Like the heart talks to the brain and the brain talks to the heart. And the heart is talking to the throat chakra. And whatever's in your heart comes out of your mouth. Come on, number 8. Listen. 6 of Swords, sailing to calmer waters. But sailing to calmer waters with the 3 of Cups celebration, it's not at a distance. Even when we see 2 of Wands, like moving ahead, we think literally, oh, I'm going on a journey. Yeah, but it's all happening within. Moving forward within. Huh? Moving inward in order to go forward? Yeah, going in so we don't go without? Yeah, that is moving forward. 6 of Swords, you're floating. Calmer waters means there's flow within your physical body. And in order for there to be flow within your physical body, one has to breathe a certain way. One has to walk a certain way. One has to move a certain way in the number 8 energy. Right foot, left foot. That's the number 8. That's balance. Look at that. Right foot, left foot. Look at the energy that's moving in between these 2 feet. In order to get that body to move, your feet is really your mind. You know, the feet absolutely control the entire body. But then you have your mind that sends the signal to your heart, and your heart sends the signal to your voice. Maybe you open your mouth, maybe you don't, but you sent a signal to your feet to move, and that's why you were able to move your foot and your leg. It's all connected. I love you, number 8. This is good energy. It's really an honor to see you ascend to self-mastery in a way that you are just an example of what it is now. Yeah, you're not responsible like you once were for the people that refused to take note. They're taking note anyway, but now the scary part is that some people like to copy you enough to plagiarize off your work and your energy, but where they find it frustrating is when they gotta pay attention, take notes, and now they have to apply it. It's the application that always gets them, because the goal is to take it and steal it from you. Whatever that is that you know how to do, number 8. The goal is to take it and steal it. But now it's like stealing something and you don't know how to work it. It's like this phone. It's like, oh, I'm going to take this phone from number 8. And then you're like, well, how do I turn it on? Wait a minute. It's the application. So you mean you stole this for nothing? You wasted time? Yeah, because it didn't belong to you. What goes into the application of applying what you've learned, holding yourself accountable, and deciding what information and wisdom is applicable to your current situations, whatever it is, that takes talent. That takes honesty with self. You know, how do you apply now what you've learned? This is why stealing or trying to take from people what you think you're stealing in a way that you're going to take them away from themselves is always a selfish and foolish pursuit. It doesn't make any sense. So this is the message, okay? I feel like I'm going to go over to Spiritual Court after this. Join me over at Spiritual Court TV, or we can just meet up here. Some of you follow me here. You don't follow me on Spiritual Court TV. That's okay, because maybe this is our zhuzh. Maybe this is our little group. I don't know. I love it here. I love you guys. I love you ladies. I love you young men, you young women, queens, kings. Y'all are amazing. I am so eternally grateful to be here yet again as we circle the sun and we just have fun. Isn't that nice? And we just stay young. Isn't that nice? I love y'all so much, okay? I salute the divinity in you. And I will see you. Life path number 9. You're coming up next. My goal is to get that done later today. So we'll see what happens. I love y'all, okay? I'll see you soon. Peace be with you.